Hello, my beautiful souls. We are here for the celebration of the new moon in Gemini. Got a lot of activity happening in the stars, so just a brief synopsis before we get into our reading. Right now, obviously, the sun is in Gemini, so the new moon is in Gemini, and this Wednesday is the summer solstice. The sun will be moving into Cancer. So summer is officially here, and I'll be doing a reading for the summer solstice for the whole summer season this coming Wednesday, kind of looking at the influences of the whole season. But in the meantime, let's focus on just this period of the new moon to the full moon, the intention setting, the seeds we are planting to grow. And Gemini is all about communication and short-term travel. So this new moon is great for setting intentions for any summer plans you might have, any trips you might be thinking about, or vacations. And it's also about looking at how we're showing up in the world, and how we can communicate more clearly with the people around us, how we can make ourselves heard more clearly. So I have a 6-card spread where we're looking at how can I enhance my perception of the world around me? Where am I most curious? What am I most curious about right now? Where do I need to learn to verbalize my emotion, right? Because the Gemini is all about communication, ruled by Mercury, but the moon is all about emotion. So how can we efficiently communicate how we're feeling? What do I have to teach others, right? Gemini is about teaching as well. What lessons can I learn from others, right? We are the teacher and the student all at the same time. And how can I communicate in new and innovative ways? Again, that new moon energy. What can we shift? What seeds can we plant? And so I pulled first an archetype card from Caroline Myss. And the archetype card is the Samaritan. And at first I was reading this and I was like, I'm like curious about this. But then we have the 2 trapeze artists. And Gemini is the sign of the twins. So it's like, okay, there's something here that we just got to look at a little more closely. And the light energy is refining your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. But the shadow attribute is exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer, which reminds me of like those, influencer videos of people going around giving money away just to have a video of them doing it. Right? Like you're not actually doing it for the sake of charity. You're doing it for recognition of that charity. And it also means you can be offering charity in a way that is at the detriment of other people, where you're not making sure it's equitable, or maybe you're putting the needs of the people closest to you aside for people that, are not of your close inner circle. But this is all about making sure that we are fair in our treatment of others and offering services in a healthy way, and in a way that will still enrich our lives, right? Because there's a way to help that's detrimental to ourselves, and there's a way to help that's enriching for everybody involved. And I have a new oracle deck that I want to start introducing, the Healing Spirit. I've got this from the Hay House subscription, so I got this early before the actual release of this deck, by Gordon Smith. This is a beautiful set of oracle cards that are all about connecting to messages from spirit. So the Healing Spirits oracle card that I pulled was Universal Love is True Love, so Love All. And I thought, like, how appropriate for the Samaritan card, right? Like, the idea of a Samaritan is to help those who need it, but, to do it in a way that's actually beneficial and not harmful. And so to love all is to be the truest of Samaritans. When we operate from a place of true love, we are creating the most benefit for everybody involved. And the message from the book here is the love you have for yourself and others is to be appreciated, enjoyed, and shared whenever possible. It is only when tested that you doubt the true power of love. The guardian spirits are telling you that love isn't something you will fall in and out of, but become part of. They're saying that when you truly love, you expand in a spiritual way and reawaken your soul. After this, nothing is ever the same. You are open to giving love and being loved in return. So that really kind of supports that energy of the Samaritan, right? To operate from that place of true love, to do it from the place of genuine intention of help and love for everybody. And this is where we can show up in that teacher and student role, right? As we, maybe being a Samaritan is passing on information, but every teacher knows that you're still a student. You learn from your student, and they in a way become your teacher. So that creates that role of duality that is also embodied by Gemini. And so how can I enhance my perceptions of the world around me? Well, after reading the oracle cards, this spread started to make a little more sense. We have the Four of Coins here, and you can see, and I'm using my Philadelphia Tarot deck. So all images are inspired by people and events in Philadelphia. And so we have our Broad Street Runner holding onto our SEPTA tokens to represent the Pentacles. And you can see here, he's holding on for dear life. He was making sure that everything is his is staying his. And so how can I enhance my perceptions of the world around me? Well, maybe like you, I feel like this card is saying, you know, thinking about that idea of coming from that place of true love and that Samaritan, how you can change your perception is to be more free with what you give and not having strings attached, letting go of that that scarcity mindset, like you have to keep everything, you never know what's going to come back, knowing that what goes around comes around. And so for our next card, we have, what am I most curious about right now? And the card pulled is the Judgment card. And in the standard Rider-Waite deck, we usually see the Archangel Gabriel calling souls up for absolution. But here, from our Philly deck, we have the Eastern State Penitentiary depicted with that eye of knowledge, right? And this used to be a jail, so there's still that idea of absolution here. There's a higher power here that's maybe not as religious. The idea of, you know, what am I most curious about right now is how is the life that I'm leading going to lead me to where I want to be? Like when I get called to the carpet, am I going to am I going to withstand the judgment, right? So there's the sense of like inner curiosity. What am I curious about? Like how am I living my life, and how is that showing up for other people, right? And again, that comes back to that archetype of the Samaritan. Are we doing it for the right reasons, or are we doing it for show? So there's an idea of like an inner curiosity about the motives behind our behaviors and what that actually means. The next card is, where do I need to learn to verbalize my emotion? And here we have the Emperor reversed. And the Emperor is about having that ultimate authority, but it's reversed. You know, maybe we're like having a little self-doubt. So I feel like this is telling us verbalizing our emotions from that place of authority of self, right? A lot of times people like apologize how they're feeling. And I think, you know, I like to joke with my clients, I charge you double if you apologize for how you feel, right? You should never apologize for how you feel. It's how you react to those feelings that might create a need for apology. But if you're willing to do the work, it doesn't have to be like that. So, but if you can verbalize our emotions, and again, this is really great for the new moon in Gemini, because Gemini is about not being emotional. It's about being analytical. And so if we can verbalize our emotions from that place of like authority without being overly emotional, a sort of sense of detachment about our feelings, like we have feelings, but we are not our feelings, right? We should be able to witness our feelings. And then from there, that place of attachment facilitates an ability to actually express ourselves with a little more ease and flow, and in a way that can create harmony. What do I have to teach others? So here we have the Page of Swords reversed, and the Page of Swords is about like new ideas and pursuing new creative pursuits. And so, you know, we learn by doing. And so I feel like this card is telling us, what do I have to teach others? When we take the steps necessary, we live by example. But maybe there's, you know, I'm getting the sense that like a lack of self-esteem is getting in the way of taking action. And if we can let go, not let go of that so much, but, you know, fake it till you make it kind of thing, you'll build the self-esteem that you're looking for, right? It's not about having the self-esteem and doing the thing. It's about doing the thing that gives you the self-esteem, and you'll be able to live by example in that way. But what can we learn from others? Again, we are the teacher as well as the student. And we have the King of Wands reversed. And the King of Wands, and I'm not sure who's on these last two cards. Obviously, we saw Benjamin Franklin as the Emperor. The King of Wands is really about tuning into our ability to make magic happen, right? Like, it looks like he's a director of a film. Again, I wish I had my little book to tell me who he actually is. So what we can learn from others is witnessing and how people make things work. Observing people, right? We've got this movie camera here. Observing what people do and learning from that, and figuring out how we can make it our own, right? But looking at people who have already accomplished the things that we're setting out to accomplish for ourselves. Finding that mentor, someone who succeeded at the things that we want to do, right? We've got that king energy that has already succeeded. But also learning from their mistakes, right? The card is reversed. Seeing where they went wrong. See what doesn't work, what they did for them, how that doesn't work for you. Make it your own. And then lastly, how can I communicate in new and innovative ways? And I love this card, the Hierophant reversed. And here we have Questlove pictured on the card. I do remember that from other reading earlier. So Questlove, the Hierophant is all about that place of higher education. And that thirst for never-ending knowledge. And so how can I commute in new and innovative ways? Maybe there's a new way to communicate that has yet to be learned. And being willing to quest, I see what they did there now, have that quest for knowledge and information to help us move forward. So that we can communicate clearly. Sometimes we have to kind of, when it comes to communicating, we have to, especially with Gemini, it's about, okay, I said this and this person interpreted that. Where can I take accountability for maybe how I could have said that differently to be a little more clear? And so I feel like the Hierophant here is telling us to really look at the things that we're saying, what's not working, and figuring out how to be more clear in our communication. Maybe there's like a public speaking class you can take or something like that, or a writing class that you can take to, you know, expand your ability to write, you know. So there's an idea of like some self-analysis that needs to be had and some study around that. So lots of good energy for this new moon, right? Once we can get clear on how to communicate our message, it creates the ability to manifest, you know, and this goes true of not even just with other people, but communicating with the universe. When we get really clear, and this has been a lot of my journey, getting really clear on exactly what it is we want, what we want the outcome to look like, then we can actually create that outcome. But we have to be very clear on what that is. But then there has to come from that the detachment to what it looks like to get there, right? It's not always going to, what it takes to get there is not always going to look like what you thought it would, but you'll still get that result that you're looking for if you can let go of attachment to how it shows up. And I feel like we're kind of seeing that. We've got, you know, letting go of that attachment, right? And that's usually, the pentacles usually represent material concerns, but I feel like creating an attachment to an outcome, there's a lot of earth energy to that, because there's that stubbornness of like, I want it to be this way. And again, it's not always going to show up the way you expect it to. So we got to be open to being able to recognize it when it does show up in a different form. Like, I remember I put out an offer for one thing, and it sparked someone's curiosity, and they said, well, can I have this instead? I was like, well, no, I'm not selling that. Well, I missed my opportunity, because I still could have provided that service for her, but because it wasn't what I was offering that moment, I thought I couldn't do that, right? There was a missed opportunity there because I was too attached to the outcome. So that, hindsight is 2020. So think about in your own life where that's shown up for you, and how can you learn from that? How can you learn from that, and how can you get more clear on what it is you're looking for, and then letting go of attachment to the outcome. And again, operating from that place of love for everybody will really raise the vibration to create the outcome that you're looking for. So I hope this message finds whoever needs to hear it most. If you have any questions, please feel to reach out to me. My contact information is below. You can like and subscribe to my videos. I'll be doing regular readings. My next video out will be for the summer solstice. So that's going to be really juicy, because that encompasses the next 3 months as a season, right? We have cycles within cycles. So I hope you can join me for that, and have a blessed day. Namaste.